Are you ready for this? I'm about to reveal my budget for this year while I'm living a financially independent lifestyle. So stay tuned if you want to see what a real budget looks like when you retire early. Hello everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to On Cash Flow, where I help you become a master of your own cash flow. Now let's get started. I'm gonna jump right into it because everyone likes it when I jump right into it. I can tell by looking at my analytics. Okay, so what we're gonna start with is my budget outline for this year. Okay, this is a general overview of my budget that I'm planning for this year. I plan on spending around $2,300 a month. And this is similar to what I plan on spending in the previous year. That makes $27,600 per year. And that might sound a little crazy to some of you, right? But I really do live a pretty frugal lifestyle. Okay, I spend very little. And currently, at least still, I do have a paid off home, so I don't have any kind of mortgage payment. And I live in a very low cost of living area. So let that sink in for a second. But I'm not gonna just leave you with that, okay? I'm gonna break it down a little bit more into some categories here. But before I do, I just wanna say really quick that looking at this now, it's kind of funny because when I first became financially independent, my goal budget was only $2,000 per month or $24,000 per year. And that was just a few years ago. And that just goes to show by how much inflation and stuff that has happened, where I've actually had to increase my spending that much, which is relatively high, but more on that later. Now I know I said we were going to get into the categories, but first I wanna show you something else that I do. Okay, so I actually make a secondary budget, which I call my bare bones budget. This is basically the budget that I would use if things went really, really bad. So I wanted to see like, how much could I reduce my spending by even further and still remain like somewhat sane, right? While also, maybe waiting out like really bad economic times or something like that, or just bad maybe financial situations in my own personal life. My bare bones budget is $1,850 per month, a lot less than $2,300 per month. That is about $22,200 per year. And my goal here was to get about 20% less in total spending, almost 20% less than my regular budget. Now, really quick, if you're enjoying this video and you like these kinds of videos, please make sure you hit the like button on this video because it really helps me out and it really lets me know to keep making videos that are similar to this because you enjoy it. This is how I would get my bare bones budget down, okay? I'll go ahead and just put it up on the screen for you so you can see how I would get to my bare bones budget. This is the method that I would use, and it's mostly going to be stuff that is, optional spending, pretty much entertainment type stuff, because I can still find some kind of entertainment on a bare bones budget. I can still keep myself entertained with plenty of free and low cost activities, but I do have some luxury things that I do included in my own regular budget, and I would just kind of temporarily put a pause on that if I needed to. This leads me to the big question here. I want to know from you in the comments below. What do you think of my budget overall? Okay, you've seen it. You've seen my regular budget. You've seen the categories that are on there and how much it is. What do you think of this? Do you think that some categories are pretty odd? Do you think that some are really high and some are really low? Do you think that it's too restrictive overall? Please let me know your thoughts. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say. Okay, now let's go ahead and break down those categories. My entertainment budget. This is my most general budget. Okay, this is a catch-all category basically. If it doesn't fit into any of those other categories, then it's probably going to fall under entertainment. And this is just meant to be pretty much anything that is like optional spending for fun or for shopping or for anything like that, okay? So it is pretty much all encompassing. It catches everything that doesn't have its own budget category. The next budget category is home, and it might be a little bit self-explanatory, but this home category is literally any expense associated with, you guessed it, home. It could be a mortgage if I had it, which I currently don't. It's going to be the utilities associated with the home, including internet, electricity, water, sewer, trash, all that good stuff, property taxes, any kind of maintenance that I do, which mostly I do myself, DIY, any kind of upgrades that I'm gonna be doing, anything like that that has to do with the home, it's gonna fall under this category. And within home, it would also have, subcategories, which aren't exactly budgeted out, but as long as they fit into that overall home budget, it's pretty much good to go. And then the next one is my travel category. And if you notice, they are going to be in the order of largest expense to smallest expense. But travel is pretty much anything that has to do with, you guessed it again, traveling away from home. So this is pretty much any kind of transportation usually or accommodation. So it's going to include things like hotels and Airbnbs. It's going to include things such as, my flights that I take, if I take a train ride or a bus ride or something like that, or an Uber or anything like that. So that's what's going to be included under the travel category. And I like to do a good amount of traveling, and I also do a lot of travel hacking with credit card rewards and stuff like that. So I'm actually able to travel a lot more expensively than what it looks like according to this budget. And then we have the essentials here. groceries. Okay, so groceries is exactly what it sounds like. It is pretty much any food that is prepared at home. Anytime I go to the store and I bring food home in order to make it myself, that is groceries. But I also include what's known as necessities, which means anything that's going to be associated with, not necessarily that you're going to eat, but you're going to be like using up, right? Like toilet paper and paper towels and soap and things like that. So that's all going to be included, pretty much things that you would get at the grocery store. Next up is a category that I didn't actually budget for very much in the past, but I'm budgeting a little bit more this year for a very specific reason. Medical is a new category for me, and I've actually had to kind of move around some money from entertainment and some from travel in order to beef up this medical category. But that is how it is right now, and of course, a budget can change in the future, and it probably definitely will. And then I have my business budget category. Okay, so this is pretty much any kind of expense that is associated with running on cash flow, with running this YouTube channel. Includes the web hosting that I pay in order to have my website, includes any kind of equipment that I buy. Luckily, I've bought a lot of the equipment already in previous years, so I don't see myself needing that much more equipment, this year. So that's why the budget is relatively low. It has to do with like domain names, any kind of other kind of expense that helps with advertising or whatever it may be in order to effectively run this business. And last but certainly not least is my auto category or car category, however you want to say it. And this is any expense that is associated with the one car that I have in my household, which is my 2011 Toyota Prius. It's still going strong. It's got plenty of miles on it, but it has not given me any issues because I do a pretty decent job at maintaining it and following the maintenance schedule and recommended things like that. This also includes any kind of gas that I'm using. And yes, it does get pretty good gas mileage, and so my car gas bill is usually not too high. It also helps that I don't commute to a regular job, so that definitely keeps those bills low as well. And there you have it. My plan for a $2,300 per month budget this year, or $27,600. But saying it out loud reminds me again how just a few years ago when I first retired, my budget was only $2,000 per month, or $24,000 per year. And if you want to see that video, because I did another video on my $2,000 per month budget, I'm gonna put it in the pinned comment below, and it will also pop up on the screen right after I get off the screen. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Zach from OnCashFlow.com, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, so here, any expense associated, very many things. This includes